Not all verbs in Latin follow the regular pattern of endings. These exceptions are the dreaded irregular verbs. Memorization works great for mastering these scourges of a language, but so does understanding why a particular verb is irregular. I mean, if you learn what about the verb makes it irregular, then it becomes a little bit less so, and it's a lot easier to remember, despite its irregularities. And also, the more you see an irregular verb, the better you'll be able to deal with the irregularity. In this video, I will discuss the irregular verb possum posse. It's a very common verb. Possum means I am able or I can, and it's definitely worth every Latin student's attention. But first, a little review. In possum posse, I hope you can see another verb, sum esse. Yeah, okay, so we have to fudge that O into an E a little bit, but bear with me. The present tense of sum esse, which means to be, or am, is, are, in the present tense, is here. Sum es est, sumus estis sunt. So in a previous video, I talked about why this verb is so irregular, and I encourage you to check that out. But in short, the stem for sum is an s, es. And to this we add our est, mustis, und endings. In some forms, there's a necessary u that's needed to connect the s and the ending, like in sumus. In these three forms, the e at the beginning drops off. In the other forms where the u isn't necessary, the e stays there. And for the second person singular, the double s reduces to just a single s. That's sum. The verb possum is actually a compound of sum. It's the adjective potis, which means able, added to sum, which means I am. Smush these two words together and you get possum, literally I am able. So to start looking at the present tense conjugation of possum, we will first list out the conjugation of sum. So here, sum es est, sumus estis sunt. And to this we add the prefix pot. That's the part of the word that means able in Latin. So we have potsum, potest, potest, potsumus, potestis, potsunt. Now this is great, but we're not done yet. So look at that first form here, potsum. No, don't look at it. Listen to it. Potsum, potsum, potsum. In Latin, the T becomes very faint in front of the S, and in fact it almost gets absorbed by the strong S sound. And since Latin was a spoken language before it was a written one, your average Latin speaker actually pronounced this verb without the T at all. And that's why we spell this with two S's, possum. The same goes for the other times where the pot comes before an S. Potsumus becomes possumus, and potsunt becomes possunt. So there you have the present conjugation of possum. Possum, potes, potest, possumus, potestis, possunt. It's the strange forms of sum that make this verb so irregular. So again, understanding why possum is irregular can help you with its irregularities. Whenever the T in the pot prefix comes next to an S, it changes into an S. And it helps again to say them out loud. Possum, potes, potest, possumus, potestis, possunt. And these forms mean I am able or I can, you are able or you can, he, she, it is able or he, she, it can, we are able or we can, you plural are able or you plural can, they are able or they can. The imperfect tense follows the same pattern. So we have our imperfect tense of sum here. Eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratis, erant. Then we add our pot prefix. But look, nowhere do we have the T in pot next to an S, because all the forms of eram start with an E. So we don't have to change anything. Pateram, pateras, paterat, pateramus, pateratis, paterant. I was able or I could. You were able or you could. He, she, it was able or he, she, it could. We were able or we could. You plural were able or you plural could. And they were able or they could. The future tense is likewise so simple. The future of sum is ero, eris, erit, erimus, eritis, erunt. And we put pot in front, make sure we don't have any T's before an S. Nope. And we get potero, poteris, poterit, poterimus, poteritis, poterunt. I will be able, you will be able, he, she, it will be able, we will be able, you plural will be able, and they will be able. Now, possum is a very important verb because it takes a complementary infinitive. Now, this is an infinitive that fills out or completes the meaning of possum. That's what complementary means. Just saying potest, he is able, leaves us hanging, and our infinitive dicere tells us what he is able to do. Potest dicere, he is able to speak. Or we can translate this as he can speak, which may sound smoother in English to you, even if it removes the obvious infinitive, that's to speak, and the more literal translation of potest, he is able. These complementary infinitives can take direct objects, like possumus te laudare. We are able to praise you, or we can praise you. Or even direct and indirect objects, like possunt tibi donum dare. They are able to give you a gift. Oh, and the infinitive of possum is posse. It's like a super contracted form of potis and esse. Posse, to be able. One more quick note. We get a lot of different words in English from possum, posse. And some start with pos, like possible, something that can be, possess, or even the American Western word posse, which is a shortened form of posse comitatus, to be able to be made into an armed group. In the Wild West, a posse was an armed band that assisted the sheriff in unusual circumstances. There are other English derivatives that start with pot, like potential, potentate, or the fantastic term omnipotent. The king of the gods, Jupiter, is often described as omnipotent, all-powerful, as omni means all. Oh, and power, by the way, also comes from possum, but it's a little bit more complicated. Back for a quick review of possum. We use the conjugation of sum to help us conjugate possum, which itself is really just a compound of potus, the adjective meaning able, and sum, the verb that means to be. Whenever the pot runs up against an s, like in sum, it changes to pos. The imperfect and future forms are as you would expect, though, poteram, poteras, etc. for the imperfect, and potero, poteris, etc. for the future. And finally, possum very frequently takes a complementary infinitive that shows what you're able to do.